Hi, welcome to Making a Better Me, day 196 update. That is 28 weeks, and today was a busy day. It was our travel day. We returned home from our vacation, and a few things I want to talk to you about, I guess. Talk to you about that. So first of all, let's talk about how today went. We were up super duper 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 early, as well as super duper duper late last night. We went to bed after midnight for sure, and the alarm was set for 4 a.m. To be ready for our pickup at 5:30 to get to the airport at 6. Now, when I get up at 4 a.m., I unfortunately discovered that our flight was delayed by an hour and 20 minutes. Unfortunately, our drive had been booked in advance, and I knew that the driver that I had booked would not be able to come later for us because he had other bookings. So I decided, you know what, let's just do it. So we got to the airport at Orlando around 6 a.m. Actually, probably a little bit before, maybe around, right around 6 a.m. I think. And they actually weren't even taking baggage yet at WestJet, which was weird. I met another fellow from Nova Scotia there standing in line. He said, no, he said they don't come until 6:15. So we waited, and they came, and we were the first two bags checked, I'm pretty sure. So we got our bags checked. We went through security and all that stuff, and everything went fairly smoothly, I think. So that was good. And then we had a long wait until our plane was going to be ready. So by the time we finished going through, the security and all that stuff, we probably had a little over 3 hours to wait. That's by the time we get to the gate. I think it was about 3 hours by the time we get to the gate. We did stop on the way and grabbed a bite to eat, use the bathroom, did those sorts of things, and pick up some snacks for later on. We did end up, I think, doing some more, or at least I did. I went and get some more snacks, or some more food. I guess I didn't get more snacks, but I get more food after that. And we just slowly passed the time. We were very, very tired, and we sort of sat and just relaxed. And Leanne walked around a little bit just because she needed to move. My feet were just too sore to walk. So anyways, we managed to wait it out, and the plane came, or actually the plane was there. The pilots came. What had happened is the pilots for our flights had to wait until later to meet the required amount of sleep from their previous flight before they could fly again. So that was the reason that our flight was delayed. Now apparently that was poor planning on WestJet's part, because they sent a flight the night before knowing full well that they wouldn't make it in time for our flight in the morning because of that time requirement. So a little bit disappointed in them for not planning that better, but also kudos to them for making sure their pilots are well rested and getting proper sleep before they're flying, because I don't want to fly with a pilot who's falling asleep. So great job as far as that goes, WestJet. I will say our flight went very smoothly. We hit a minor little smidge, barely any turbulence at some point, probably towards the end of our flight, but really nothing significant. Beautiful smooth landing. So yeah, that was sort of our day. We get home, we get to the airport here, everything went really smoothly here. We went right through customs and all that stuff. Our bags came out. We found our car fairly easily. Jessica had left it at the airport for us yesterday, because yesterday she left for Edmonton. So that was great. We stopped and grabbed a bite on the way home, and then we came home, and I really needed to get off my feet. I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not. I actually have had blisters on my feet for like the last 3 or 4 days. I guess Thursday night, by the time I left the animal kingdom, I had pretty sore feet. I had blisters on both right and left feet, around the ball of my foot, and then hung out in the parks on Friday and Saturday, and then plus the bit of stuff I had to do today. So when I get home tonight, I really just wanted to take it easy and stay off my feet as much as possible, give them a bit of a break. I'm hoping tomorrow will allow me to do that as much as possible again, and Tuesday as well, so that my feet have a chance to recover, and so that I feel okay going back to work on Wednesday. So a couple of things that I guess I want to say. First off, we had a fabulous trip. It was really wonderful. We had a lot of fun together. We did a lot of great things. We ate some wonderful food. We rode some wonderful rides. We saw some great shows. We talked to some interesting people, and just really had an excellent time. Now that being said, there were so many things that we missed. I really tried to plan things too much, and I tried to have too much on the go for us, and really didn't plan enough downtime, and that ended up backfiring, and plans had to change in the last minute. Although I think everything worked out fairly well, we certainly didn't have as much time to do things that we wanted. There were a lot of really wonderful things about our trip this year. One of the things, sort of a double-edged sword here on this one, is we had incredible weather, in terms of it didn't rain. I've been to Orlando 3 times in the past, twice in July, around this time, and once in August, and I think that usually we would get, if we were lucky, 1 full day without rain, and most days it would rain at some point heavily. During our trip, I believe it rained once, one day, but it didn't affect us because it happened at a time that we were inside anyways, and it was a very short rainstorm. Other than that, I didn't see any real rain. We had a smidge of a shower one day that lasted about 2 minutes and was light. Other than that, really, we didn't have rain. So that was incredible. Like, I can't believe, like, we took dollar store rain ponchos with us, expecting the worst, and we didn't use any of them. So really, we had fabulous weather that way, but at the same time, it was extremely hot. And I've mentioned this, and I think that even a few years ago, I probably would have tolerated this heat a little bit better. But as I'm getting older, I hate to admit it, that heat just sucked the life right out of me, and I'm sure Leanne as well. It was 33, 34 degrees Celsius every day, high humidity. Just sweating from the moment you stepped out the door, nonstop, all the time. So, that did make things a little bit difficult. But, so in the future, if I am planning to go back to Orlando, I may try to find a different time of year to travel. It might be a little bit cooler. I said, I jokingly posted, I think it was 29 degrees here in Nova Scotia today, and I jokingly posted how pleasant it was to be here and not be sweating within 30 seconds of being outside. But it was, it was, even at 29 degrees, it was noticeably much cooler here than it was there. So anyways, that's good. That was all good. So, in the future, I may opt for a different time of year if that's an option, because just like I say, at our age, that temperature is getting to be a bit more than I can deal with for multiple days in a row. Like 1 or 2 days I could probably squeeze out, but we were looking at 6 full days, and really it was just too much. Couldn't keep up that pace in that heat. Other things that I would probably do differently, I tried to take full advantage of extra magic hours which I think kind of backfired. And the reason I think it kind of backfired is looking at the days that we went to parks that didn't have extra magic hours. Um, we got a lot more done at the end of the day than we did on days that we had extra magic hours. The crowds were just too big and staying too late on the days that the extra magic hours were at the end of the day. Now, that being said, early in the morning extra magic hours, we only did one morning that way, but it seemed to work out fabulously well. We got lots done in that first hour, in the first couple of hours actually, and then left the park for another park. And I think that that was actually pretty good strategy. So my recommendations at this point would be to use morning extra magic hours and skip the evening extra magic hours, just because the crowds seem to be heavier, so much heavier at nights that have extra magic hours, that you really, even though you have more time, you will get probably less done. So that would be one thing that I might do differently in the future. One of the other things I might do differently is I would probably go ahead and stay at an official Disney resort. We have twice in the past, and this time we went at a non-official Disney resort, but it also had some of the Disney perks like the extra magic hours. Essentially, I thought we would save a few dollars by doing it this way, but when I look back at it, really I don't think we saved really very much money, and I'll tell you why. It was probably about $50 less per night in Canadian funds than the Disney World resort. But here's the disadvantages to that. One, we didn't get the Disney Magical Express, so we ended up paying about $80 US. By the time we tipped and everything, Uber and another driving service, to travel back and forth to the resort. So if you look at that, that works out to about $13 or $14 extra per day, US, which in Canadian would be about, let me see, that would be about $17, $18. So there's a good chunk. We had to pay a $25 US per day resort fee, which again, switched to Canadian dollars, that probably works out to about 31, 32 bucks. So we've already hit that $15 range. Then on top of that, we didn't get Magic Bands included, so we had to purchase our own. That was another $28 US approximately. Switch to Canadian, that would be about let me see, probably about $35. Divided into the 6 days, that's another almost $6 a day. So we're well above the $50 per day that we saved, I would say. On top of that, the resort buses that were provided, they were there and they ran fairly consistently, but we had worse drop-off and pickup locations, and they weren't as frequent as the Disney buses tend to be. So what we ended up doing a lot of the time was actually walking from our resort to either Disney Springs or Saratoga Springs and taking the buses from there, or catching buses back to Disney Springs and Saratoga Springs at the end of the night and walking from there. And that was great. I don't mind walking, but by the end of the week my feet were sore, and I was starting to have some problems with that. So all that extra walking really didn't work out well in my favor, especially with the blisters the last 3 days and things like that. I really could have used a few less steps. And if we had taken out those steps in the early part of the week as well, maybe that would have saved my feet a lot of grief. So I think in the future, even if I ended up having to go with an all-star resort, I would definitely probably do that again rather than go somewhere else. I really don't think we saved enough to make it really worthwhile. Now that being said, one way that we found that we were able to save some money was book our resort on hotels.com and then buy our passes separately. That seemed to be a little bit more cost effective than booking directly through Disney. The hotels.com seemed to be able to get those prices a little bit cheaper on the resort, but you can't buy your passes or meal plans that way. One of the other things that I would probably do in the future again as well is buy a Disney meal plan. That wasn't an option for us because we weren't in a Disney resort. So we paid out of pocket for meals, and we ate very well. We ate at some very nice restaurants, which, you know, I am thankful for the opportunity to have been able to do. But it was very, very expensive, and you know, the meal plan, even if you're paying for it, is certainly, I think, probably a better value than we ended up with, although we probably would have went over with snacks and stuff as well. So maybe it worked out about the same, but I think, you know, having the meal plan would give us a slightly better options and an advantage at times. So I think I would probably opt for that as again. And now, when I say using the meal plan, I wouldn't do the quick service meal plan because I do like my table service. So it would be the medium plan, so the one with one counter service, one table service, and I think it's 2 snacks each day is what I would probably opt for as far as a meal plan. And I know that you can get that heavily discounted usually in August and September. So, you know, if that's an option for travel for you, that might be something to really look at, is getting that free dining, because that really can save a lot of money. So those would be some of my strategies that I would probably use in the future. Now, one of the other things that I did notice, or I felt anyways, was the park seemed crowded than they did in previous visits. Now, it has been, you know, 10 and 15 years since we were there, so I would expect that, yes, it would be a little bit more crowded, but it seemed much, much worse. I found the crowds, I don't know, they seemed a little less friendly, maybe. I guess I'm not sure what term I want to use. We met a lot of very friendly people, but we also, you know, we found a lot of really rude people pushing and shoving and just barging through and things like that. And, you know, I found that a little bit different than I was used to. I also did notice that the park seemed to be dirtier than I remember them being in the past. More garbage on the ground and things like that, and things that I don't remember seeing on previous visits, and maybe I'm just blinded by good memories over bad, but it seems like the parks were a little bit dirtier. In particular, the place we noticed it the most was the Magic Kingdom. I also noticed there seemed to be more ride breakdowns. Seemed to be very frequent, more so than I ever remember in the past. But again, that may be just my imagination, or maybe it was just bad timing. But again, you know, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here and bash the Disney World Resort or anything like that. I'm just mentioning different things that I observed and noticed, and you know, give you some ideas to plan better maybe if you're planning to go again. I probably will do a bonus video and talk about this, you know, or some of these different topics in more detail and more extensively, so that I can, you know, make sure that people are getting the information, because I know with my day-to-day videos and my day-to-day updates that people are probably not going to go back and watch those. But if I do it in a bonus video, I'm hoping that people will be able to find that video and refer to my tips and tricks and different ideas for traveling better. So anyways, it is getting late, and I have 2 more days of vacation before I have to go back to work, and I have a lot of things I want to do in those 2 days. One of the things in particular I want to do is rest and get my feet feeling better, but I do have some other things I want to get taken care of at the same time. So I'm going to call it a night. I'd love to have you hit that thumbs up button to let me know that you've liked this video. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear your opinions on what I have to say about my Disney experiences, and what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to know more about. Because I would love to talk about this more. I did take a look at a bunch of my videos that I've taken. I think I've got some really neat things to show you. I don't know how much time I'm going to have over the next little while to edit and put together some videos, but I'm going to do my best and try to get some interesting, fun content out for you. I've got a few different things that I thought might be cool to share, and I'm really hoping that you'll get a chance to look at them and see them and enjoy them. And of course, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is the time to do that. Subscribe to my channel now. Really would mean a lot to have you subscribe. Anyways, that's it for tonight. Oh, two little things that slipped my mind that I did want to say. I was really quite, I don't know, touched, I guess, with how loving Storm has been since I've been home. Storm is our oldest border collie, and he's a pretty snuggly guy on his terms. And tonight when I get home and I sat down on the couch and I put my feet up because I needed to rest, he got up on my lap and he was not going anywhere, and he demanded to be patted the whole time. If I stopped, he would squeak and cry and turn around and decide he had to lick my face until I kept patting him. And it was just sweet. He really makes my day, and I did miss him a lot during the trip, and it seems like he missed me too. And hopefully I don't have to leave him too often, too many times, because I just think pretty highly of him. He's a pretty special guy, and he makes me feel good, and I hope I do the same thing for him. The other thing that I noticed right away tonight is, wow, the bugs are much worse here. I don't know what Disney does to control the mosquito population, because they're literally in a swamp. But I think I could probably count on one hand how many mosquitoes I saw in the last week. And we were walking by, water all the time, day and night. Really didn't see much of anything for mosquitoes. So whatever you're doing, God, send us the secret. I'd love to be able to get rid of some of the mosquitoes here. I know they're, I'm sure, an important part of our ecosystem, but man, they're a nuisance. So anyways, I'd be curious to know what their secret is. And anyways, that's it for tonight. We'll talk more tomorrow. I've got some interesting, fun things to do, and so hopefully we'll have a good video for you tomorrow too. Talk to you later. Bye bye.